welcome back to Mouth in the Matter. My name's Titi and you are watching a segment I'm going to be tentatively calling Webtoon Watch. So basically I will be dissecting webtoons and and analyzing it for you. So the layout that I have picked for it is going to talk about the plot, which would be very non-spoilery. So if by that time you definitely want to go read this webtoon, you still can afterwards that plot. Then I'm going to go into my likes and dislikes, which would definitely be spoilery, so you have to click out after the plot. My likes, my dislikes, my theory, my score, and then my final thoughts. So for today's pick is Girls of the Wilds. So going into the plot now, Girls of the Wilds is a Korean manhwa. I think that's actually tautology. It's a manhwa created by Han and Gina, who are, I think, the writer and the illustrator respectively. Now this webtoon is about this boy named Jaegu, who is very down on his luck. And when I say very down on his luck, I mean incredibly down on his fucking luck, guys. And he gets the chance to study in an all-girls school, like completely free ride, free scholarship. He just has to study at the school, and he is the first boy to get into the school at the time. So yes, and then the one line I can say that is non-spoilery, I think, at all, is that hijinks ensues. That's pretty much all I can say for you right now. Yeah, it's not a normal girls' school. It's these girls are well versed in martial arts. This isn't a spoiler, it's just like a fact. And yeah, so that was the plot. I'm going to go into the characters, which I forgot. I'm going to say the characters as well. And yeah, so if you are interested, even though that was a very vague plot that I just said for you, then you should probably go click out now, and we're just going to get right into it. So okay, so characters, let's start with Jaegu. Jaegu is a very respectful boy. He's he's the type of boy you would want to take home to meet your parents. You know what I mean? He's the kind of boy that you would trust with your life, although I'm pretty sure every single character that you would actually, at least the main four, you would trust with your life. Like, that's how it is. Jaegu, I have a lot of respect for him. He's like, his attributes, if I had to say them, was just very resilient, very trustworthy, very loyal, very friendly, very caring. He's a very caring, respectful human being. He has to take up the responsibility of taking care of his little siblings who are twins. They may be like 5 or 7. I'm not sure how old they are. But after his dad died and his mom deserted him, which kind of left him with like an innate distrust of women and I think a fear of women. I don't really have much to say about Jaegu that isn't good, that isn't bad, because I do kind of have some problems with Jaegu. And yeah, I do. So we're just going to leave it there for his character for now. Okay, next one is Queen. I don't really like Queen. I like Queen, but I don't really like her. Queen, she is super rich, is what I can say to you. Uber successful. I think her parents own like the entirety of Korea, like the way they're making it seem. Like the bitch has money. She has money. She's really good at fighting, although they all get really good at fighting, but you kind of can tell that she's one of the best out of all of them, or if not the best, because I mean, it's been proven. She won the last competition, which we'll get into. Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about Queen that won't be bad, so I'll just get into the likes and dislikes later. Our next character is Dal Dal. Dal Dal's my bitch. If you have any Dal Dal slander, we won't tolerate it in this house. I love Dal Dal. I love her so much. She is the epitome of what I like to see. I like to see this. I really do. Oh my gosh. is crazy. If you don't like Dal Dal, click out right now. She's one of my favorite characters in this. If not my favorite, not one of my favorite. She's my favorite character in this. I think they did her so dirty. I will get to that in my dislike section. But Dal Dal is basically this little this, when I say little, I mean in like stature. She's tiny. She is fierce. She's just like yeah, you get it. Then Moon Young going to be the last character I'm dissecting. Moon Young's poor Moon Young. Look, Moon Young, I think she deserved better, low key. And I say this because she was really relegated to like this like advice guru, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying that every single character, this isn't odd, every single character does not need to have like their own character arcs, their own like intricacies, their own like deep shit. It doesn't need to happen, but you're just like, Young, maybe she deserved just a bit better, just a tiny bit. I don't know. Someone could disagree with me with that, and I'd be okay. I don't really think every single part of the, because she's kind of like a side character, as much of a side character as being part of the core four. I like alliteration. Being part of the core four as she can be, but she kind of is. But hey, it's like I said, someone could disagree with me on this and I will be fine. I probably would not disagree on the others, on what I've said, but hey, I'm ready to fight in the comment section. It's all right. So let's go into my likes and dislikes. If you see me looking down, that's because I have my notebook and I have to wear my glasses because I'm blind. So likes, let's get into the first one. I really like the art. I really love the art. I don't know anything about art. I just know what I like and what I don't like. And art is really subjective. So I'm fine with someone being like, I just like what I like. And I really fucking like the art in this. It was just amazing. Especially when something intense was happening and they drew it differently. I'll put up pictures somewhere so you can see like the difference in how they would draw something that... yeah, it was beautiful. It was stunning. I loved it personally. Okay, and I loved, second thing, I loved the fighting conversation and the conversation around women fighting and their bodies. I loved how they introduced different types of like fighting in the school. So there was like boxing, there was taekwondo, there was kendo, there was wushu. And side notes, that wushu girl, she has my entire heart. I love her so much. I think Lee Sil. Someone please like be putting timestamps when I'm saying these names and tell me how to pronounce them, please. But I love her and she has my entire heart. And then, like I was saying, I love the conversation around women and fighting, because if you haven't noticed, like the way media has started to take criticism of the fact that there weren't enough strong female characters, was the fact that they would literally create strong female, like physically strong female characters, which isn't a bad thing, but they took it to the point that there's really no like internal development and you can be strong in more than just the physicalities. And I like the conversation around women fighting in this book, in this webtoon, because it was very realistic, like incredibly realistic. The way media portrays women in fighting, at least like let's say my YA fiction for example, is that they make it to the fact that it's kind of unrealistic. And I don't mind that. Because I've noticed that the criticism around, let's say, it's being unrealistic that your 17-year-old YA protagonist can like take out like some people without like with much formal training, is kind of rooted in hypocrisy. Because to be honest, nobody's batting an eye when you see some James Bond type shit happening when he's taking out legions of men. Yes, he's a trained man, I will give him that, but like legions of men or some Fast and Furious type shit. But yeah, you want to talk when you're seeing like this 17 YA protagonist do some shit. Like, I don't mind the hyper unrealisticness of it, but it does come across as pandering, which is why I like this. Like, point blank, some of the characters will be having conversations with like the male character Jegu, and we'll be like, you're lucky that you're a guy, because if I was facing off a guy with the exact same skill set as me, like, point blank, I would probably lose. So I really like that, and I really enjoyed that. I really loved the humor. Upon reread, because I reread this webtoon, this isn't the like, fun fact, this isn't the first time I filmed this video. Like, I reread it because I was like, oh, let me try and give like an honest, like, as in-depth as possible. I didn't finish reading it because of something I'll talk about later, but upon reread, it's really fucking funny. Like, guys, it's really fucking funny. If you know me or you get to know me, I love humor. Like, guys, I stand humor. If you're a humorous person, my media is humorous. I love it. I love that shit. I'm a hoe for that shit. Like, that is my shit, okay? I love the characters. That all of the characters were funny, and they brought out some kind of comedic element, which I loved. But those two chiefs of securities that were they don't fucking care. They're just here to watch. They're there, and I like that motorcycle guy with the helmet, Huang, Jill, that guy. I really liked him. I really liked him. Okay, next thing is that I loved how it wasn't too, like, the drawings weren't too, like, perverted or over sexualized. Now, over sexualized women in media is not a new thing. Like, just watch anything, just read anything, just it's there, it's present. And at least I feel for most women, we'll still watch it though. We're still watching it, we're probably still enjoying it, but there's still a layer of, oh, this is making me slightly uncomfortable because it's kind of gross. And while there are some things in this webtoon that the way they drew it, I was like, no, there was a need for that. No, these are high school kids. This is kind of, it wasn't too much. Most of the time it was drawn quite tastefully. There's one thing that I would never forget, and it was they were jumping over a fence because they were trying to get into school. Like, these bitches, these girls were literally jumping over the fucking fence to get to school, and you could see their underwear, and they drew it in such like a matter-of-fact way, like it was, oh yeah, they're jumping over a fence, their skirts are going to fly up, there's wind, you're going to see their underwear. It was very matter-of-fact. It wasn't gross, wasn't anything, which I liked. It didn't make me uncomfortable, you know what I mean. Okay, so next points is that Queen is badass. Like, Queen is that bitch. As much criticism as I have for her, Queen is that bitch. You automatically lose, as per you have lost if you go against that. You know what I mean? Like, you've lost already. Like, don't waste your time. You've already lost. To be fucking honest, the amount of shit this girl has under her arsenal, the amount of things that she can just like call up, you've lost. Okay, so number, I think this is 7, I'm not sure, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, 7 is that I like how they mixed aspects of femininity and masculinity. I like how there wasn't like a bashing of one thing, which I rather really liked. Like, I liked how Dal Dal liked to cook, and she took in that new girl that came in the end who also did wushu. You know, those two girls that were mistaken for boys. I think they did wushu, I think so. How she liked to cook, how she wanted to be a wife. I think Queen liked pretty dresses and all that shit, and whatever. I have some criticism for Queen, but like, I liked how it was integrated, you know what I mean, because I really did enjoy to see that. Even though there was some mocking, like, let's say Dao Dao would like mock Moon Young. She would call her like pig for having muscular legs, and then let's say Moon Young would, in retaliation, would like call Dao Dao tiny shrimp. I think she called her shrimp, I'm not sure, can't remember, but she definitely made fun of like her size and stature, which honestly I can just say that that's came from a place of like respect, mutual respect and recognition and acknowledgement, because even though they were taunting each other, they were sort of taunting the things that gave the other like an advantage in fighting, which like I peeped. They didn't think I saw that. I saw that. And I was like, I saw that. So I liked. So number 8, Moonyoung's really, I think this is number 8. I'm going to number these correctly, but Sha a number. Moonyoung is great at advice. Just go to Moonyoung. If you have any trouble, just go to Moonyoung. She'll sort it out for you. She'll give you the advice. She's great. Cool. Next one, training. I really liked seeing the training, the bruises. I think that art translates more than words. I think I realized that this was what I've been missing in the other media that I've been consuming. This is what I've been missing in like my books. This is what I've been missing in my books. This is what I've been missing in my movies, because they'll probably just do like a montage, both in books and movies. This is what I've been missing. I like to see the conversation around taking care of your body and not pushing yourself too hard. And I like that they were eating, and I liked that, yeah, I liked seeing that. I really did, because I realized that I definitely liked seeing the characters work for something, you know, so I enjoyed that. Next thing is that Jaegu's character development, it is immaculate. As much as Jaegu annoys me, I have to say I stand an underdog. It is cliche, it is overdone, but I will not sit here and lie to you. I'm not a liar. I can't lie. I'm a child of God. I can't lie. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that I wasn't out here enjoying it. I wasn't out here rooting for him. That I wasn't out here being like, yes, that's my boy, go fucking get it. Like, I can't, especially when you see him at his lowest, because this webtoon is not shy about showing you Jaegu going through shit. It's not like, no. So seeing him at his lowest, and then being able to see him like get up from that, being able to see him learn, being able to take in what he has been learning from the girls and applying it to real life, and him getting more confident in his fighting abilities and in his confidence in general, just all of that, like, we love to see it. We love to fucking see it. Last thing is that the rereading quality is fantastic. Like I said, I wanted to give you guys a more in-depth review, so I reread it over the course of, let's say, last month or so. I was just rereading it on and off, and then the first time I'd read it was like last year, maybe September or so, maybe late last year. So what I'm saying is that if you have read this before and it's been a while, go reread it. Like, genuinely, just go reread it. Go treat yourself. Don't you want to treat yourself? Fucking treat yourself, because it's lovely. I thoroughly enjoyed rereading it. I was like, shit, wow, I remember this happening. This is so funny. Like, you're probably not going to get bored. Sure, some things will be skimming, like, but treat yourself. You'll enjoy it. Okay, so that wraps up the like section. Dislikes, let's start with number 1. Jaegu's view of women and his obliviousness is borderline disgusting. Look, like I said, Jaegu has a fear of women and a distrust of women because his mom left, so on and so forth, blah blah blah, which I don't really care about. I mean, sure, it adds into his whole character, but like, I don't really fucking care, to be fucking honest, because you can't tell me that this is the only woman you have come into contact with to tell you that, oh, women aren't all that bad. Women aren't all that bad. And like I said, his obliviousness is so annoying. These girls literally fucking like, and you don't have to reciprocate it. Nobody is saying you have to reciprocate someone else's feelings, but at least, I don't know, open your eyes, shine your eyes, look. Like, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. These girls literally would go to his home, go and take care of his little siblings, go fight off his enemies, go do all that shit. Dal Dal literally fucking unconsensually kissed him twice, and I don't stand that. I stand Dal Dal, but I don't stand that action that she did. Okay, I didn't like that. I have to say, I have to pick out something she did. I apologize on her behalf. You guys forgive her. I apologize. Like, I'm saying sorry on her behalf. I didn't like her doing that, but come on, like Queen's fucking plane literally said, "Wait for me, Jaegu." In, like, I think it was a banner. It wasn't her that orchestrated that. It was her little brother. But still, and while I think you can say all of that was simple human kindness, you know what I mean? Like, just because it's in their ability to like fight off people, it's in their ability to go and help him wash fucking cars, to go and help him with the kids and everything, so on and so forth. Like, those are what friends do, to be honest. Like, you don't have to reciprocate anything, but like, maybe could you just like maybe think like, maybe just maybe these girls might maybe like me. No, not clicking. No, okay, fine. Okay, so second point is that Queen is a bitch at first. Like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not out here, that's not really like criticism on a normal day for me. I don't mind bitches in my stories. I really don't. Which, by the way, please, you'll get to know me that I say bitch in two different ways. I can say it in an endearing way, like, you know, and like a critical way, but most of the time it's in an endearing way. I don't mind bitches in my stories. I don't, okay? I stand Blair Waldorf, and Blair Waldorf is a bitch, but she's a bitch with sense. She's a bitch with purpose. She's just no. Okay, so what happens is that Jaegu, I think on the first day of school, he's walking and he has milk, so on and so forth, and then Moonyoung bumps into him with her because she was doing some fucking trick on her what's that thing called, her bicycle, and she bumps into Jaegu, and Jaegu in turn like bumps into like Queen, and it gets milk over, and Queen is mad, but she's mad at Jaegu for spilling the milk, and in turn she retaliates by asking him to compete against her in a tournament that is meant for fighters, and she knows that this boy has no fighting skills. Jaegu can't fight. He can't fight. He's not skilled enough to fight. So I'm out here asking, like, I'm wondering, why though? It doesn't make sense. Even on a normal day, like, even if it was Jaegu's fault that the milk spilled, is that why you're going to get mad because someone spilled shit on you? Is that it? That's your threshold? That's what the fuck? No, sorry. I know a lot of people, at least I was seeing in the comment section, and I make it a point to read comments. You know, I just like to see like the general feel of what's going on and how people are reacting to things. But like, I was reading comments that people are saying, oh, Jaegu and Queen's stories, they're sort of like a parallel to each other and so on and so forth. Like, no, bullshit. Someone can outline it for me later in the comment section if you want to tell me, but like, no, bullshit. So third off, spanning from that incident, is that Moonyoung has selective outspokenness, and it kind of pisses me off. It really does. It doesn't make sense. I was out here thinking, why doesn't Moonyoung just tell Queen that, hey bitch, that was my fault, stop going after him, that was clearly me, like, that was me. So I was out here thinking, oh, okay, you know, this was the first day of school, so I was thinking, oh, okay, maybe Moonyoung's like a minion type character. She's like a lackey type character. She's not out here trying to like speak out of turn against Queen, you know what I mean? But no, we learned that Moonyoung would tell it to you straight. She will give it to you straight. She doesn't give a fuck. She's no. So I'm out here like, okay, where was this energy before? Why didn't you speak up for him? Why didn't you say that was my fault and bitch, you're overreacting? I don't know. Just really annoyed me. So the fourth thing is that I cannot feel bad for Queen's backstory. I just can't. I don't have it in me to feel bad. So what happens is that her parents wanted a boy, which I mean, okay, fine, fair. They were disappointed with the fact that they got Queen. They were dressing her up in boy clothes. They even named her like a boy name. But I can't feel bad for it. I just can't. I don't have it in me. I'm sorry. You're like rich and you're not restrained. Her parents are telling her they don't want her to do fighting, which I mean, fine. It sucks when your parents don't support what you want to do in this life, but like there's not active restraints. This bitch is still taking like a flight to and from to competitions just to go and fight. It's never that deep. It's never that like oh my gosh, I'm actually, she has a fucking ring, like a sparring ring in her basement. No, I'm sorry, they're not really restrictions. And I mean, sure, they never give like a reasoning, but I mean, I can assume your parents don't want you to fight. At least it makes sense for your parents not wanting you to fight, just because fighting solely not solely, I mean your brain too, but like your body is literally your weapon. That is your selling point. What happens if you get hurt? You can't do that anymore. What happens if you grow old? Like, I just it makes sense for them not to want you to fight. Like, I'm just saying. And like I said, it wasn't that deep. It wasn't like an obstacle. This wasn't something that, oh my gosh, she truly wants to fucking fight, but her parents, they're not bending. No, it was okay. It wasn't that deep. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't anything. It wasn't something that would invoke, oh my gosh, please leave her now, let her do. No, it's fine. Bitch is having it always. It's okay. She's alright. She's doing business, something. Learning about the business. She's also fighting. It's not bad. She's okay. She's alright. Okay. What I also didn't like was that they tried to give relationships to like one of the bodyguards. Now, if you're an alumni of this Girls of the Wild school and you are in the top, I think it was maybe only 3 or 4 students get to be part of like this like protective guard. I've forgotten their names, but Moonyoung said she wanted to be one. Anyway, so the main one, Aina, I think her name is Aina. I don't know why I think it's Aina, but she looked, oh god, the way they drew them, it was so badass. But what I'm saying is that they're trying to give a relationship with her, which I didn't stand. I was out here like, and you're going to give a relationship to a guy who was literally sexist towards her? Like, no. How about we don't do that? No, I don't. No. Okay, then next one is Queen Soft Side is gross. I don't really like that. After seeing her do something like being mean to Jaegu, you just see her do that, oh, that blushing thing. It's like, no, that's not cute. It's really not cute. And to be honest, I know you guys think that I hate Queen, and I don't hate her. I think I like her more than I dislike her. You know what I mean? She's on that spectrum. Like, if completely hate was here and completely love was here, Queen would be closer to the love than to the hate, because yeah, I do enjoy small parts of her character, but like, no. Yeah, next point was that Dal Dal was done so wrong. She was done so fucking wrong. Oh my gosh, guys, if you stand Dal Dal like I stand her, you are going to, you know what I'm talking about. You already know what I'm talking about. So there's this love triangle going on between Dal Dal, Queen, and Jaegu, and I knew that Dal Dal wouldn't have a chance, but I still stuck in. But I knew the moment that they introduced that boy who was playing soccer to Dal Dal, I just knew what the author was doing, the creators were doing. I just fucking knew it, and I was so pissed, because you're not slick. You're not slick doing that. It's not nice doing that. You are silently retconning that, and I know what you're doing, and it wasn't nice. Dal Dal deserved better. I was seeing in the comment section, which like people were like, oh, Dal Dal should just stop like hanging on to this relationship because she so obviously likes that other guy. Like, since when? Since when does she like him? You haven't seen that. You haven't seen any proof of that. Dal Dal is the type of bitch, like, we are inside the thoughts of these characters. They will think things, they will say things. Like, it's not some kind of like one what's it called? All those shows sometimes will follow like one narrative, but it would follow different parts of the different characters, and we will see it. If Dal Dal really liked this guy at the time of some of these commenters were saying that she liked this guy, then we would know. We would know. The mind works in associations, and I hope I can get like a visual here. But like, what happened was that Dal Dal was thinking about Jaegu, and then her mind changed to like the new love interest that was interrupted. And I'm out here like, I'm sorry, you can't really take that as proof that, oh, she likes him, or because it doesn't. The mind in my, okay, look, I'm not a scientist. I don't know this shit. What I'm saying, it could be completely wrong, but like the way I see it is that the mind works in associations. It really does. If someone asks me what time is it, my mind is immediately going to go to summertime. Okay, like, that's what's going to happen. If someone tells me if I'm like at a formal and someone says, okay, raise your glass, like, I'm immediately thinking, raise the glass to the groom, to the groom, to the groom, to the bride, to the bride. Like, that's what's happening. That's what's happening inside my mind. So like, Dal Dal's mind going towards a guy she just met who was nice and who was caring, kind of just like Jaegu is nice and caring. Like, it could be in a completely platonic way. She literally just met the guy. So stop it. See, what really pissed me off about this whole situation as a whole is that the authors fully just introduced a new character completely out of the blue, and we're supposed to care about him, and we're supposed to care about this relationship that he could have with Dal Dal, even though for the past Lord knows how many chapters, and don't get it twisted, this manhwa is incredibly long. For the past Lord knows how many chapters, we have been along the ride for Dal Dal and for Jaegu, for the potential of them being together. So for the creators to introduce this secondary character, this non-flesh character, to try and pair up, and Dal Dal was done so wrong in the sense that I would like to know why her stakes were so fucking high. I would love to know it. Someone tell me why everybody else got this cutesy, like, oh, just these guys, that come to do punch up, so on and so forth, blah blah. This, just Saturday cartoon type shit. Like, no, tell me why Dal Dal's stakes got raised so high that she got kidnapped by these group of men who have been like salivating over her. It's just so gross. Who have been like watching her on television because she her mom's a television cook. Her mom's a cook and she has a television show. So Dal Dal would sometimes be like in the show as well. So it was just really gross. And while nothing explicit too much happened, like, my mind was already going there, and I can understand if any other person, any other girl in particular, or any other person in general, mind was going to all types of like bad shit that could happen, because this isn't something that is not new when it comes to being female. You know what I mean? Like, so it kind of grossed me out. I just didn't know why it had to be like that, but cool, whatever, fine. I don't mind, whatever. Actually, I do mind, but let's go on to the next point. Next one is that the plot became unnecessary for the love triangle, and things could be solved with a fucking conversation. And it got to the point where I was so mad. Like, the plot just became look, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. I'm not good with feelings. At the times where I do sort of have like some kind of inkling of a like, and I don't like two people too often in the romantic sense. I just don't. I don't know. I can probably count on like less than, no, I don't like people. I don't. So I understand not wanting to talk about it because that shit's scary. Okay, if I have a crush, my crush wants to know that I'm his crush. My crush wants to know. My crush won't even know that I exist. I swear to God, like that's how it is. That is how it is. My crush wants to know anything. He won't. He won't. Like, so I understand, but at the same time, I keep that to myself. You know what I mean? It's contained in me. It's not out here not destroying. I won't say destroying. That's too melodramatic. It's not out here affecting my relationship with other people and affecting the whole ass plot. You know what I mean? It's just it just became so extra, so extra. I just like there were other subplots. This is my next point. There are other subplots. There was the vacation thing. There was Jagu helping the girl that was getting bullied. I think there was a new boy getting like into the girls of the Wilds high school as well. So yeah, there were other subplots and it was okay, but at a point it's like no, I know some of this is going on because there's just this whole romance thing, which isn't a bad thing. I don't mind romance, but I just didn't like the characters that were participating in that romance. It just really upsets me. The entire triangle thing, it just really upsets me. Like going back to that Dal Dal Don't So Dirty, I love Dal Dal and I don't think Jagu deserves her, but it just wasn't it. That whole like romance thing, it just wasn't it. I don't really mind romance. I don't particularly, that won't be my choice of genre, but I don't mind it, you know what I mean? But no, it just wasn't great. Okay, so coming to like second to the last point, this whole indoctrination of this whole ushering in of males to the Wilds High School, the whole reason why the principal or the owner of the school wanted to do so, I thought the reason it wasn't sound. The reasoning didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense. I didn't like it at all. It was like, oh, these girls, they're growing up to be weapons rather than flowers and they need to experience the joys of girlhood, so let's just bring in boys. And I was like, what? First of all, the joys of girlhood does not really pertain to like men. It doesn't really pertain to the relationships these girls are having with guys. It just didn't make sense. And you know what they showed for them being weapons rather than flowers was that some of them had beat up guys who were catcalling them. And like if you're any type of person in this world, you know what catcalling feels like. You know what catcalling feels like. You know it. You know how dangerous that situation can get to. You know how. So like I'm out here like, okay, what was the problem though? What was the problem though? Like, I see no problem. I'm blind. I don't see anything. Like, truly, what was the problem? The next thing was that, one of the alumni who was working at a bank, one bank robber came in and, of course, she beat his ass. Like, what's the problem? I don't see no problem. If it was like, these girls, they don't know how to interact with, men, and they don't know how to interact with members of the other sex, you know what I mean, like, wow. And maybe it's some kind of muscle memory type of thing, so whenever they feel something that could be like an affront, they just immediately retaliate, you know what I mean? Like, okay, if that was happening, I'd be like, okay, fine. But that still doesn't make sense, because as we get to go on, we know that these girls are S-class, at least the core 4, they are S-class fighters. Okay, they have fucking restraint. That is what has been like hammered into them, restraint. Whenever things get like, what's it called, and whenever things get not even just the core 4, I'm pretty sure every single girl there has been taught about restraint. Whenever things like there will be like a fight or something, like the girls will be going after the way to try not to make it into a physical fight with like blows and with like kicks and everything, because they're like, we could get expelled from school, we could get suspended from school, we could get sanctions from school, because we're not supposed to be fighting these people outside the school sanction ring, because we could actually fucking kill them. So like that doesn't even make sense. It just, because I know that they have restraints, I know they're not going to go out and beat people up if they did not deserve it, and if the situation wasn't bad. So I know them beating that bank teller was well within their rights to do so. I know them beating those cat collars was well within their rights to do so. So you telling me that, oh, they're going up to weapons instead of flowers, and let's just introduce men, like, it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense, and I'm not understanding it. You picked the wrong reasoning for such a huge, like, plot starter. It just didn't make sense to me, you know. Fine. Last point. Ooh, I got into the last point of dislikes. Is that it got to be repetitive as fuck. It just really got to be repetitive. Guys, if you've stuck in long here enough, you stuck into this video, I'm about to spoil it some more. Like, as far this is major spoiling, guys. Like, major spoiling. Honestly, if you're stuck in this long and you're like, maybe I don't want to hear this part, like, this is crazy, I'm going to sum up the entire thing for you right now in less than 5 words. Okay, so this group of men underestimate the girls, and the girls beat their asses. 2 words? 2 words? Not 2 words, 2 sentences, sorry. But that's how it is. That's literally how it is. There'll be a group of men, they underestimate these girls, and then the girls, like, beat them up. And it's such a recurring thing. That fucking redhead, he doesn't have sense. Oh my gosh, I hate that redhead character. He does not have sense. Oh my god. And let me fucking tell you, this isn't some Gallagher Girls type shit. This isn't, oh, some hush hush, some, oh, I'm in a secret boarding school, nobody knows that this whole, like, ladylike school is like a front for some espionage spy fighting type shit. Like, no, it's out in the open. It is broadcasted. You know about the Girls of the Wilds, you know about them. Their literal tournament is being broadcasted, and it is held in their school. I'm pretty sure it's broadcasted. In one of the first scenes, we literally see Jago's little siblings watching television. They see Queen on TV because they see her fighting. They recognize her because they know she's a fighter. These people who are picking fights, literally the rival school is picking fights with them when they know they're literally underestimating them, even though they know that, oh my gosh, these girls, they fight. Queen literally won the last competition. Why has your mumu button suddenly been pressed? Like, I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. I'm not understanding. Someone explain it to me, because it's like, this is broadcasted. You know about the Girls of the Wilds. This isn't some kind of, like, hush hush type thing. No. At this point, you're just an idiot if you're getting into fights with them, because you should know better. You should know better. Not even getting into fights, but underestimating them. You should know better. This isn't some, like, oh, just normal sexist something. Sexism is already fucking stupid, but this is stupid sexism, because, like, you have seen it broadcasted. You know about these girls. It's never, like, is never not in doubt the abilities of these girls. So, like, why are you out here doing nonsense? Okay, so fine, that wraps up my likes and dislikes section. Let's go into theory time. Just a little part that I just like to put into existence, some things that aren't canon but can happen. If, like, the series is ended, I just like to put some things just from the general threads of the story. What could have happened if the story continued on? If I was reviewing something that hadn't finished, it would probably just be like a theory of what I think is going to happen. So theory time. Jago's little sister and Queen's little sister, if they do end up together, and I don't want them to end up together because I know there's some some people are trying to ship it together, even though they're literally fucking kids. Like, they're kids. What are you doing? But even though they did end up together, can it not be anytime soon? Can it be in the distant future? Like, let Jago's little sister be like 20 or something, and let it be years since they've seen each other, the boy and the girl. Like, let it be have been years since they've seen each other. Let her have her own means, her own money, her own source of income. Because what happened was that Queen's little brother, like, he basically bought the entire district, I think, where Jago lives, because of course he couldn't pay his rent. They were about to kick him out. So I don't need that savior complex. I don't need that hero worshipping thing for her. I don't need her to feel like she's indebted to him. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I don't want that to happen, because that's very much an imbalance of power already. So I need her to be some kind of like, because she's a piano prodigy. Her brother, the other twin, he's a math prodigy. Not, she's in piano, she's like a music prodigy, I think. Just not. So I need her to be like some kind of putting on some kind of like music concert, you know what I mean? Like, you know what, because like when she's like 20 or something like that, and then the little brother just came on the off chance because his friends invited him and he wasn't going to come, but he ended up coming, and then they see each other and it's like, whoa, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in years. Oh my gosh, yes, I'm doing well for myself. I'm a dedicated, you know, I'm a awarded, decorated, you know, like prodigy piano, you know, all that shit. I just, you know, like, yeah, I need her to be self-sufficient. I don't need her to be feeling like she's indebted to this guy if it ends up happening. That's fine. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. That's where I'm gonna leave it here. I had another note there, but okay, fine, I'll just talk about it. Queen and Jago, if they do end up together, you know, I just hope they have a bland life. This isn't like a theory, but yeah. Okay, so final thought. I don't know if I should put my final thoughts. Okay, no, let me do my rating. I will give this like a nice cute 7.5, 8 out of 10. I'm feeling very lenient because this is my first one. Yeah, even though I ranted a lot about it, like, it's ultimately a really good webtoon. I think everyone will enjoy it. These are my final thoughts now. Like, it has a great reading quality. Like I said, the nostalgia effect is fucking beautiful. I think the last chapter was published in 2016, the first one probably like in 2012 or something like that. So I've seen people in the comment section when it was closing, like the story, the webtoon was closing up. I've seen people in the comment section be like, oh wow, I started this webtoon when I was so and so forth age, and now it's this is so and so forth time. I've literally grown up on it. So I'm like, how crazy is that? How fucking, I like that kind of thing. It warms my heart. That kind of like, passage of time has like gone and people have been going with it, you know. I just really love that. Okay, but down to the thing where I said that if you reread it, why I couldn't finish reading it for some odd reason. Like, I think they're going to change the thing up to like fast pass, like you have to pay for the thing, which was so weird because last year I read it completely fine, nothing happened. So it had to be in time when I wasn't like rereading it, that maybe I just stopped reading for a while. This just over the last month that they changed it to like, oh, you have to pay. And I'm like, wow, but like the last chapter was back in 2016. The people who are still reading this thing, and maybe stragglers like me who came in late, who are like, oh, let me read this thing because I just got into webtoon, so let me read this. But yeah, that's it. So that's it for my Girls of the Wilds review. I hope you really enjoyed it. Please smash that like button, that subscribe button, all the fucking buttons. Please comment. I want to know if yes, Titi, oh my gosh, you completely validated what I have been feeling. Thank you so much. Or if you're like, Titi, what the fuck is wrong with you? That was wrong. Everything you said was wrong. I wholeheartedly disagree with so and so and so forth. Like, do that. I genuinely enjoy like looking at that. So please tell me how you feel about it. And yeah, on to my next one. Thank you. This was Mouth in the Matter.